This house didn't have any cameras, and someone drove right up and stole their AC unit. So now the question is, what do you do after something like that happens? Hey, I'm Robert, and Oconee Smart Homes exists to make real homes more convenient, accessible, and safe with smart home technology. We serve real customers right here in Oconee County, Georgia, but this channel is for anyone who wants to make a simpler, smarter home. This house was once a family home, but now the owners live just a little further back on the property and use the space as a business office. This wasn't the first time that this house has been burglarized, so we're not just installing cameras, we're fixing a real problem. But it's springtime in Georgia, and they'll need this soon enough, so let's get started. So we're starting from scratch here after an incident. Here's how I think about it. Don't start with the front door. We'll start with the location where the problem already happened and work backwards. People often wait until after something like this happens to address a security or safety concern. So it's too late for what happened, but it gives insight into what to do going forward. Cameras don't automatically mean prevention. Some people think that cameras stop theft, but most of the time they just record it. So placement matters because bad placement is just useless footage. So the AC unit goes here on the side of the house, and they're adding some physical security, which is important. We want to try and capture faces, so the camera needs to point towards the unit, and we don't want to mount it too high and see the tops of their heads. And we're also going to add a light because light changes behavior instantly. The goal isn't just to catch something after the fact, it's to make someone not try in the first place. Deterrence. And now we want to retrace their steps, or in this case, their drive. Some random guys didn't carry off a whole AC unit. They likely drove in, came around the side, loaded it up, and left. So instead of just covering the unit, we want to cover how someone would actually get there and get away. We're going to use Ring cameras out here. There's a few reasons why. They're quick to install, no extra hardware, and it just so happens that this owner already uses Ring at their main house, so it's just familiar. Ring takes a lot of heat for being 100% cloud-based and requiring a subscription and some of the surveillance that they've been involved with and now have walked back. And I typically prefer a local first approach whenever possible, but in this sense, cloud makes sense because the owners are off-site, and while Ring isn't the most advanced system, this is one that will actually get used and protect this property. They do tend to be reliable, and the subscription offers 24/7 recording, as well as AI search and notifications. So here's how we're covering this property. Here on the garage, the side of the house, we've got a Ring Floodlight Cam Pro. This is one of the 4K cameras. Its field of view is pretty wide, so it's going to capture everything. Really, you can see this vehicle here and all the way down to this part of the yard, way past here into the backyard. Okay, and at that point, we transition to another 4K floodlight camera here on the corner of the house. This gets pretty much all of the backyard. We're going to be able to see all the way down here towards the basement and most of the backyard. So anybody walking back here or driving back here will be able to catch. And then we go all the way around to the other side of the house for the AC. So here on this side of the house, we're using a solar-powered Ring Spotlight Cam. It's got the light built in. The light's not as strong as the floodlight, but it does provide some coverage. And the solar is going to keep the batteries powered. And the reason we did this is because on this side of the house, there's no existing electrical out here, and they didn't want to run new electrical. There's the new AC unit, and there's the camera, and we did test, and you get a clear view of anybody who's hanging out here. Okay, now this isn't me, but this is really cool. Obviously, physical security matters a lot, not just the cameras, but actually being able to protect this thing so it doesn't happen again. They had a craftsman weld this cage together. This thing is heavy. This thing is like steel, and custom created a mount that's going to go in this pad and protect this thing and keep it safe. Anybody who comes back here is A, going to get caught on camera, and B, probably not going to be able to walk off with this thing again. Compared to replacing an AC unit, a setup like this is a pretty small investment. We've got another floodlight camera here protecting the front of the house. And it's got a nice view of the street. And we can filter this out of detections with motion zones. Even with all this, there are still a couple of areas I would keep an eye on if this were my house. And so you may be wondering why not have protection over the front door with a doorbell camera. The existing doorbell placement doesn't give us a great angle for a camera. It would be pointed off to the side. So for now, we're leaving it as is and prioritizing full exterior coverage. But to cover the front of the house, we put one over here on the front soffit. And one more thing I've asked them to consider, so they've got a back door here, truck garage that leads to the basement door. Let me show you this. This basement door has had attempted robberies before. You can see where somebody has tried to put a crowbar in here and open up this door, but I think it would be good to have coverage down here. There's not a lot of power options, and certainly the light's not great, so solar isn't really an option. They might have to go with a battery camera if they choose to do this. So far, they've said they're not very concerned with this, so we've not installed anything down here. So while no setup is perfect, we've covered the biggest risks on this property. We've got immediate coverage, security, visibility, lighting, everything is improved and taken up a notch. Nobody's going to be going unnoticed on this property anymore. Anybody who walks up or drives up is going to be seen, brightened with the light, and recorded.
What you doing wandering around in my front yard?
So in the end, we've got 4 cameras installed, and this house has a much better security posture. Now, it can't change what happened, but it does change what happens next. So if you're thinking about smart home security cameras for your home, don't wait until it's too late. If you're not sure where to start, drop a comment below. I'll try to help you out. God bless you. See you next time.